You're listening to The Luxury Item, the podcast on the business of luxury and the people and companies that are shaping the future of the luxury industry. Here's your host, Scott Kerr.
Anthony Bourdain once said, "Travel changes you. As you move through this life and this world, you change things slightly. You leave marks behind, however small. And in return, life and travel leaves marks on you." Well, judging by the projected growth of the global luxury travel market, more travelers want to have these marks left on them. The global luxury travel market size is expected to reach $2.5 trillion US by 2025, expanding at a CAGR of 4.6%. This is driven primarily by the surge in disposable income and consumer spending of middle and upper class and growing demand for accumulation of travel memories. Even Airbnb is getting into the luxury travel space. And today's luxury travelers are more vocal about getting a deeper level of personalization and one-of-a-kind experiences. They just don't want restaurant reservations, but exact tables at in-demand hotspots as well as pre-ordering wine to accompany the meal. They're asking their advisor to book sessions with hairdressers, massage therapists, and even tattoo artists. They're also craving personalized local shopping experiences. Shopping has shifted from a trip accessory to a leading travel motivator. And one of the hottest new companies that is disrupting the way locals and international travelers shop is LookStyler. In a nutshell, LookStyler is a global platform that connects travel and fashion lovers with local stylists in the biggest shopping and fashion meccas around the world. And my guest today is the founder and CEO of LookStyler, Mirjana Perkovic. Welcome, Mirjana.
Thank you for having me, Scott.
You're very welcome. I'm so excited because you're always traveling around the world, and I found this window of opportunity where you're actually in New York City, and I could bring you into the studio. And I think you once told me that you've been to over 100 countries. Did you shop in every one of those 100 countries?
Yeah, it's true. I've been to over 100 countries, and I've shopped in most of them. And if I haven't bought anything, at least I paid attention to the shopping districts when I traveled.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for dropping into the studio to speak with me. So I'm really excited. We had met you about 6 months ago, and when I found out more about your company, I think you were talking about it at a meeting, and then I went online to look more about it. I was just like, this is great. I see it, there's a huge gap in the marketplace. And so I was excited to meet you afterwards after that meeting and talk more about actually having you on the show. So I think it would be great. I sort of gave the About Us kind of website description of LookStyler, but I would love to hear it from you to talk to our listeners about what it is, when you founded it, what motivated you to find it, what was that aha moment that you decided to do it, and go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a real millennial, so I love to travel. I love to invest in experiences, and traveling is, of course, the nicest experience you can have. So I started traveling, I think, approximately 10 to 15 years ago, and I've been to all continents. And when I traveled, I just realized there is a huge potential in developing shopping capitals around the world, because shopping is great in Europe, and I grew up close to Italy, and shopping was always amazing. But when you travel to some other continents, the shopping experience is not that good, or there is room for improvement. And shopping is, of course, amazing in New York. So I just saw that there's basically a huge potential in the market. So I developed LookStyler 2 years ago. It's a platform that connects international luxury shoppers and travelers with local fashion partners and travel partners. So what does that mean? Basically, there are many people who travel to shop. So we organize a shopping experience for them abroad. Because now the biggest trends in travel are all about experiences, shopping like a local, eating like a local. And this is what we organize for our travelers. So we basically connect them with local fashion stylists, and we take them shopping. So we customize their shopping tours. We see which brands they like. We take them to either big brands or small, new independent designers, and we style them at the same time. We also take their pictures that can be shared on social media, because you know that millennials and Gen Z love social media. So this is what we do for our customers, and this market is really growing.
So most of your customers are millennials and Gen Z?
It's also middle-aged people, yeah.
And do you find that most of them are already world travelers or have traveled frequently around the world, but looking, as I mentioned before in the opener, that now that we're moving into more personalized experiences, they've done all these things already, but now they're sort of taking it to a different level where they want work with the insiders, if you will, to know where to shop, to know where to eat. And this is part of that whole shopping experience.
Exactly. Yeah. Most of our customers are celebrities or affluent people, middle-aged people, and their teenage children. They usually already travel a lot. And as you said, they've done many things, so they're looking for new experiences.
So there's families? I mean, do you get families too?
Yes, we have families too, like mothers, daughters. They love to shop together abroad. So we offer a new experience in shopping for them.
Are most of your clients and customers from the U.S. going to another country, or vice versa? Or one's coming to New York or some other.
It's mostly Americans going abroad, but we also have clients from Asia. So China, India, the Middle East, and Brazilian customers.
So how does it work? So say I'm going to Paris, and there are a lot of shopping meccas around the world. But say I'm going to Paris, how do I connect with you? Because I know you launched an app recently. And so how would I connect to you? And I don't know where to go, but I found out about LookStyler. And so what do I do? So
So on our app, we have shopping information for 70 shopping capitals worldwide. So you can also find shopping information for Paris. You can also see which stylists we have in Paris. So how it works is that you would send us a request. You would tell us, Mirjana, I'm going to Paris in November. So we would basically talk to you, see what you like, which brands you usually buy, and then we would customize a shopping tour for you. It would be a half a day of shopping or a full day, and we would basically select stores for you based on your preferences, your budget, and then we would match you with the most appropriate local stylist that would go shopping with you.
So when you with your client that is doing that, how do you sort of get a better understanding of their style? Do you ask them a lot of questions?
Yeah.
Is it just online, or do any of the stylists speak with them before they go there to really get a vibe so they get the best experience when they do get there, that it's exactly what they want, or even some surprise and delight things when they get there?
Yeah. So we ask them a lot of questions. We can also do a video chat. We check their pictures, their style. We see very quickly what they want to buy. So they also tell us what they're interested in. Is it accessories, clothing? Right. Sometimes they want to buy art as well. So we ask a lot of questions and we do a video chat. Will
this local stylist also recommend place to eat as well?
Yes.
So that's included.
We can also bundle up the whole experience. So we can basically add even accommodation in a 5-star hotel, a limousine with a driver. We've had that before. We can add a dining experience, even a helicopter ride, even a private jet if they're interested in that.
Yeah. So how do you find these stylists? Because everybody claims they're a stylist. Okay, so how in the vetting process of finding a stylist, what constitutes a stylist that is good enough to work for LookStyler?
So we check their portfolios. We connect with our stylists through social media. So stylists are a very specific fashion community. They usually have styling degrees or just fashion design degrees, and they work as stylists. Now they usually work with magazines, on TV, with celebrities, and we basically commercialize their skills. Once we check their portfolio, we can see very quickly how good they are. So they're all vetted.
So do you try to match those things too, where their specialties are and just how they work with people?
Yes, sometimes they have a specific style, but usually very good stylists can really adapt to customers.
Yeah.
So they can do any style. But sometimes, some are younger, some are older. We also have celebrity stylists, especially in certain cities like LA. London, New York, Mumbai in India, where there's like film industry.
Right.
So we have different categories. It's mostly based on experience and age.
Right. Are they also social media influencers too? Do they have to be? Do they have to have a certain amount of followers on Instagram to be part of the styler, or that,
Some are influencers, but they don't have to be. Usually, actually, they work in the background, like very good stylists. You usually wouldn't know their name, but they can be really amazing.
Right. And you said before that you also tried, some are asking for when they go locally to find independent designers, to find ones that haven't been discovered yet.
Yeah, this is something that's very unique about our platform. We work with all the stores. So sometimes people are familiar with all the big brands and they want to discover something local. So we definitely work with local designers, and often people ask us for something unique, something they haven't seen before, they haven't bought before. So we really work as well with local designers, and we curate those experiences as well.
Yeah. Most of our listeners are in the marketing industry and working in luxury marketing. And I'm sure they're interested in, do you capture data? And if you do, what you do with that data and how does that improve the experience the next time for your customers?
Yeah, we capture data and it's mostly used for the customers themselves. So once we get to know them, we can basically just follow them wherever they travel, and we can offer the same kind of experience in other cities. So we basically have stylists in New York, LA, Miami, all over Europe, like Paris, Milan. But also if they go to Shanghai, if we know them, we can also offer a very similar experience there, or in India, or even Australia or Cape Town. So basically, we primarily use the data to help them shop better in a much more targeted way, and with a stylist that suits them. So they basically buy better, because some of these budgets of these shoppers can be very high. So it's much better for them if they buy something that really suits them.
Do you ask them what their budget is when in the screening process, when they trying to connect with a stylist, what they're expecting to spend on the trip? Do you ask them that?
We do, yeah. But sometimes we already see based on the brands they buy, like what the budget is going to be like. Right. So if they only buy like Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana and Rolex, we know where the budget is going to be. Right. So we basically ask them about the brands they like, and that gives us a perception of their budgets. So usually they're all high net worth individuals.
Yeah. Like what are some of the things that local stylists and these personal shoppers do to make a bigger impact on the shoppers, that perhaps things that they're not even on the itinerary, ones where they're there and this was not even, I didn't expect this to happen, and is it something that these local stylists sort of has on their itinerary secretly and sort of to give that experience a better experience than they thought?
Yeah, basically our stylists are local experts, and we can always personalize the shopping tours. Even on the day of the shopping itself, our customers can always say to the stylist, now I want to buy something else. And these stylists are actually local experts that can provide that advice just on the spot. And basically, this provides a much better experience. They also usually know all the brands, all the local stores, so they can just basically give a very ad hoc, great response and offer better advice.
Do you have any kind of extreme requests from the shoppers where the stylist would contact you after and said, couldn't you believe that they asked us to do this, or they asked me to go here and do this, something was completely unexpected request from the shopper that just maybe seemed a little bizarre?
We haven't had any extreme requests. No, sometimes they ask they want to do their hair and makeup as well, dining experience, but they're all nothing crazy so far.
So far. But, knowing travelers and, wanting more personalized experience, who knows what the future will bring for these extreme requests.
True.
It seems like the luxury travel is becoming more segmented, and every time you look at a travel publication or online, you're reading about this transformational travel, the experience empowers them to achieve some sort of a life-changing personal fulfillment. You hear about this conscious travel, I think is another thing now, where travelers want to know in some way that their travel is connected to their personal value system, like sustainability, the Insta-tourism now, where they just want to go to destinations and vacation places based on how Instagrammable it is. So you're hearing these different segments come up. And it seems to me this is another segment, the fashion tourism segment. Mm-hmm. That seems to be growing and big. And, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. Like fashion tourism segment is growing, especially in certain destinations like Italy and France, because most of the luxury brands are Italian and French, but also like in the UK, New York. So there's certain countries which are really top destinations for fashion tourism. And on the other hand, there's a lot of luxury shoppers that would just travel to shop because plane tickets have gotten cheaper and it's so much easier to travel. And basically people are seeking new experiences, and also they want to buy something they cannot buy at home.
Right.
And this is really a growing market, especially for China. So for the Chinese consumers, they really love traveling abroad to shop.
Yeah. So I guess while we're talking about Chinese travelers, they're creating this huge opportunity right now in the travel market. And I was reading somewhere that overseas consumption accounts for about half of all spending by Chinese travelers. What are some of the trends and insights that you're seeing with Chinese travelers and how they're spending their money?
Yeah, basically, so the luxury segment in China is really growing, and that wasn't the case maybe 10 to 20 years ago, but now luxury is really booming in China, and the Chinese travelers are actually expected to disrupt the airline industry as much as the invention of commercial flying did, like decades ago. Mm-hmm. So they do love to travel and shop, and they usually have very high budgets. And also, they would also travel in groups. They like to travel in groups. They like to travel with their family. And they have certain favorite destinations.
Which are what? Which are the biggest?
Paris,
right.
Milan, also New York. They love Dubai. So I think Dubai is a new destination
right.
for the Chinese. So basically, the trends we see is that the luxury is really growing. And I went to China in May. And I spoke with many local luxury travel agents who told me the same thing, that luxury is really on the rise.
Yeah.
And also they're very much influenced by social media. So the Chinese love to post online. They love live web streaming, and they're influenced by influencers, basically.
Yeah. Has LookStyler worked with any of the Chinese influencers? Because like you said, influencers are very big over there. Have they worked directly with any of the influencers there who are using your services when they're traveling?
Yeah, we actually just got connected with one influencer, and we are looking to tap into that market. So everything is different in China.
Right.
Like all the social media channels are different,
right.
and China is a very particular market. So we do have now our local social media channels there, and we are connecting ourselves with local influencers because this is how the Chinese shop.
Right.
They're very, very much under like the influence of these celebrities and people that post online.
Right.
And they love videos as well.
With so many influencers in China, when you have some customers that do want to go to China to shop, I would imagine there's a larger pool of influencers and stylists for them to work with. And even micro influencers there are not really are even bigger than micro influencers here. So how do you vet that with so many influencers in the Chinese market?
Yeah, basically we work with local partners. So we have partners in travel and fashion that help us with that, kind of like choose who is really relevant and who is not. But actually part of our project is discovering new destinations. So it's not just shopping in the traditional markets, but we also want to develop shopping in new capitals like Shanghai.
Right.
I personally love Shanghai, and shopping there is amazing. Or Hong Kong, or maybe Mumbai in India, because India is also really growing in fashion.
Right.
So part of our project is developing new shopping destinations, yes.
So how does social media play a role in your strategy? I know you work with stylists who are on social media, and obviously you have customers that are on social media. What about you personally? How do you get the LookStyler brand out there using social media?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram. We use YouTube for our promotion. And then in certain markets, as I said, like in China, we would use local social media channels. And we definitely in the future want to work more with celebrity stylists and influencers that will promote our services.
Right. You said that most of, or a lot of your customers are millennials, and you do have different age segments. Like, for our listeners who do want to target millennials, some of the learning that you've had, like what are some of the essentials that you see when working with millennial luxury travelers? versus some of the older travelers? What are some of the things that they should know? Some tips and, doing things.
So I think millennials, we are very digital. So we basically grew up with the internet. And if we didn't grow up with it, we basically got to know it in the last 10, 20 years. And so we are very digital savvy. We use the internet a lot. We are very demanding, especially in the luxury segment. We want to have a personalized service, very curated. I don't know what you've probably seen what happened with Thomas Cook recently.
Yeah.
They went bankrupt.
Yes.
So basically the era of this, prepackaged holidays is basically over because millennials, they want a very personalized experience. They can also buy a lot of things online, book their own trips. And then once they're in a country, they really want to assimilate themselves with the locals. So they really want to experience the country in a very authentic way, see how people live and just experience everything like them. So I think millennials and Gen Z generations, they're much more about this, local experience, being authentic, being sustainable. As you said, that's very important for millennials. And basically this is part of the travel experience as well.
So the bar is set really high now, higher than ever.
Yes.
Because they know so much. Millennials know so much about the market and everything going in. They could probably tell them more than they know.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the bar is really set high. What about some of the older generation when it comes to luxury travel? What are their expectations that you've seen that are different than millennials?
I think they're just very demanding.
Yeah,
I think that's a general kind of they just want this concierge service.
Right.
And I think the better VIP service you can offer, the faster you can grow. So I think this kind of VIP concierge, everything on demand, private chef on demand, private stylist, that you come to their house, that everything has to be, I think, very convenient for them.
Right.
Very easy.
Very easy for them. I remember I was looking at your site. I think there's a section that you have, I couldn't remember whether you call them tours or prepackaged. I think they're prepackaged tours for all different cities around the world. Is that what they are? They're prepackaged things. Yeah.
So we offer shopping tours.
Yeah.
Right. So basically some are already kind of designed, but we can always customize.
Okay.
So let's say we have a Coco Chanel tour in Paris.
Right. What's in a Coco Chanel tour?
So you would basically go to the Chanel store and discover Paris like Coco Chanel. So basically we would just walk you down those streets of Paris.
Like a walking tour.
Yeah, usually these are walking tours, and you would have French stylists describe the history of French fashion. And so, for example, this is one of the tours. So we have tours that are kind of already pre-designed, but we can always customize them. And it's basically in 70 cities.
Right. In London, too? Do you have a high street tour as well, possibly?
Yeah, we always target all the bigger shopping districts, but then we can always work with local designers too. Yeah. And we always ask local stylists to help us design the tours. That's why we have these local fashion experts help us design the tours.
Are those usually the prepackaged tours, shopping tours that are they're a little flexible? Are those usually more expensive than the ones where they're asking you to build it from scratch?
No, it's actually the price is the same.
It's price is the same.
Yeah, exactly. We just give people an idea of how the tour looks like so they understand, but then we always customize.
Yeah. So you were saying before, I think you said celebrities do use LookStyler?
Yes.
Can you drop any names?
So, no.
Are they celebrities, U.S. celebrities, U.S.-based?
U.S. and foreign celebrities. Yeah, we have a few celebrities, but I wouldn't mention their names.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble. So what are some of the other interesting things that you've learned about today's luxury traveler? I know you talking about millennials. You're talking about some of the older generations, some of the different there, but just some overall things that you've learned since traveling yourself and launching LookStyler, things that you didn't realize about the luxury traveler that sort of educated you on this that were kind of surprising to you?
I would definitely say there's this rise of new destinations. So basically luxury travelers nowadays, they want to go to new places.
Like where?
So I think this is a new shift. Well, I would say, for example, as we spoke about Shanghai in China, or for example, I think Mumbai in India is a very hot destination. It's one of my favorite cities. It's on the beach. There's palm trees, rooftop bars. I think Mumbai is a city that could really develop in the future. And I think we're going to be seeing the rise of these new destinations. Also like Cape Town, maybe like Doha in Qatar is a very nice city for shopping. Sao Paulo in Brazil. Mexico City. Right. Mexico City has really developed in like the recent 10 years. So there's certain cities that are becoming new shopping destinations.
Anything in Eastern Europe or
Eastern
Russia?
Europe as well. Yeah. Like Kiev is a beautiful city, for example. Russia, Moscow, St. Petersburg. But also, I'm from Slovenia. You know, Slovenia is developing Ljubljana.
Yes.
And there's other shopping capitals that are on the rise now. And I think this is also disruptive to traditional shopping cities that we know of.
So you've shopped at over 100 countries worldwide. So what are your favorite personal destinations?
Yeah, I think it's just the ones I've mentioned right now. Maybe
that's
also
everyone. That's all the destinations. That's every destination is your favorite.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a place to shop is my favorite.
Exactly. Well, I love Paris, of course. Paris, New York. I think LA is actually an amazing destination. We have a lot of celebrity stylists in LA. So because of the big movie industry there, I of course love Italy. Barcelona is an amazing city for shopping, and all the ones I've mentioned before. Even Dubai, for example.
So how big are your closets?
Yeah, very big, very big.
When you've shopped in over 100 countries, I hope you have someplace to put everything.
Yes, I do have a huge wardrobe, and it's too small for me. I'm dreaming of a big house with a walk-in wardrobe.
So the final question, which is the luxury item question, which I ask all my guests, is if you were stranded on a desert island and you had, one single luxury item that you can take with you on this desert island, it can't be any form of transportation, no mobile service. Someone said an iPhone last time, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going to have to take the mobile service thing out of this. So what is that one single luxury item you would like to have on that desert island?
I think I would definitely choose champagne, because if I'm stranded, I might as well enjoy it.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. So, I opened up with an Anthony Bourdain quote. I think I'm going to close with an Anthony Bourdain quote, and one that I think you could probably make your own. So Anthony Bourdain once said, "Drink heavily with the locals whenever possible." So for you, I think your quote would be, "Shop heavily with local stylists whenever possible."
True.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Mirjana, thank you.
Drink champagne. Drink champagne.
Drink champagne. Mirjana, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you,
it's very
Scott.
informative. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for having me.
And that's it for another episode of The Luxury Item. I'm your host, Scott Kerr. Thank you so much for listening. You can subscribe to The Luxury Item at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.